Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Mainly Outspoken. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're all doing well. So tonight we're going to jump back into some Palworld. And I wanted to kind of take a look at one of the community groups that I'm in related to Palworld while I play, and kind of try to answer some of the, more frequently asked questions in the group. I mean, by no means am I like an expert of this game or anything, but I've played it a fair amount, and I feel like I can answer, a good number of the questions that are being asked on the message board. So I'm going to open that up here. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I'm just going to kind of read it off my phone here as we play. So first things first, I do play Palworld on an Xbox Series X. I am normally a PC gamer, but this game in particular, I've been playing it on the Xbox because I do have some family members and a few friends that are still Xbox gamers, so I wanted to be able to try to play the game with them. And as of right now, there's no crossplay between Steam and Xbox yet. Supposedly it is coming, but that's not something they have implemented yet. So, like I said, while I play tonight, I just wanted to kind of bring up some of the questions that I see being asked in some of these message boards, and address some of the other things that I'm seeing. So, just getting the stream up and running here. So those of you just joining us, welcome. Great to have you here. Feel free to say hello in the chat if you'd like. Always nice, like I said, talking with my fellow gamers. Alright. Let's get logged into the game here. So I've been pretty much playing single player on my world here. I do have it open for multiplayer, but I've had one friend that did join for a couple of days and played, but pretty much just been playing solo. It'll be interesting to see how the PvP works when they implement that. Alright, so just getting logged in here. Hey Alice, how's it going? Going good. Alright, so yeah, we're just getting started here, just getting underway. This is like my secondary base location here. Primarily, this one is for farming metal and coal. Looks like the pals have already farmed most of the coal. These are what the coal nodes look like. Kind of black looking rocks here. There's also a number of metal ore here. I've shown this base location in the past, but it's right up here, kind of in the north, just below the tower of the Free Pal Alliance. So just south of that, right here, is this pillar that's up high, and there's a bunch of metal nodes up here, a bunch of coal, and a lot of trees. So this is a great resource farm location. So as you can see, I've just got a bunch of the good mining pals. And then I've got some good transporter pals here as well. So they're basically harvesting all this coal and metal, bringing it back to these boxes. And then I can smelt the ingots here. Okay, I have 110 ready to be made. Then this Ragnahawk that's here has kindling level 3. So as you can see, it cooks the ingots like super fast as long as you have this little cauldron here at your base. So if you're looking for you know, an easy spot to farm metal and coal. Again, this is located up here, just below the Free Pal Alliance Tower, where you fight Lily, I believe is. So yeah, right here. My original base is way down here at the starting area. Pretty much you start right here at Plateau of Beginnings, and I built my first base, like, right there. As soon as you basically come down the hill, right there. Alright. So, that's one thing I wanted to share. I've seen numerous people asking in the message boards, you know, hey, where can I find coal? Where's a good spot I can farm metal? I recommend this spot right here. Again, that's where it is on the map. There are other locations like this one, but this one I've seen posted by numerous people. It seems to be a pretty popular spot. And again, what's nice about it is it's up really high in the air. As you can see, we are way up here, quite high. And so far, I have not seen this base get attacked. You know how you have the little raids where the NPCs will come after your base? This one does not seem to be able to be attacked, so I don't even think I've seen it register an attack yet, so. Alright, so let me go back to the message board here. That was one question I wanted to answer was, you know, where do you find metal? Where do you find coal? Another question I see frequently asked is where do you find the crystal? I think it's called like quartz or something in this game. So over here, just to the west of my base, is kind of this area called No Man's Trail. Also another marker here, the Cold Shore, and just north of that is the Icy Weasel Hill. But if you go to this one here, No Man's Trail, so when you spawn here, sometimes there's some high-level pals here, though, that might attack you. Yeah, see, there's a Raindrix, level 39. I'm only currently level 31. So a lot of these pals are a little bit higher than me. But this is a place where you can find the crystal. You'll see right here, right next to the fast travel point, here's a crystal node right here. It's kind of weird it's on top of this rock. Kind of strange placement. Quartz. That's what it is. Pure quartz. So if you're looking for pure quartz, this is a location where you can find some. And it's nice because, again, it's right next to a fast travel point. So you can just fast travel here, farm the quartz, and then teleport right back to your base. Because the quartz is quite heavy. So you can only kind of carry so much, depending on your weight skill. Farm up a little bit of this quartz. Like, look, I only have 20 so far, and my weight is already over, like, 300. So the quartz is quite heavy. It is one bad thing about it. Obviously, there are things you can do to help with that. You can level up your weight skill, or there are certain pals that, as long as you have them in your group, will increase your weight. The other cool thing about this area here around this No Man's Trail, I've noticed there's a ton of eggs here. As you can see, here's a frozen egg. So yeah, if you get a flying pal and just kind of fly around, quite a few eggs in this area. There are more quartz nodes as well, so it's not just that one. See, here's already another egg. So if you're looking for eggs, this is one location. I mean, overall, the map is just covered with them. I am playing the game on just normal settings. I don't have any of the rates boosted or anything like that. I'm just playing on normal. Yeah, this area here around No Man's Trail, there's quite a few eggs. The other location where there's a lot of eggs is the ritual site. Down here, the ancient ritual site. If you fly around that blue circle area here, there's a lot of eggs to be found there as well. Another good place for eggs is over here at the volcano. Spawn over here at the tower entrance, and then just kind of fly all around this volcano. There's a lot of scorched eggs over here. So, but like I said, I mean, if you fly around the map, you're going to find eggs pretty much everywhere. And that's really one of the simplest, easiest ways to fill out your PAL deck, basically the Pokedex, just by hatching a lot of eggs. So, go back to my main base for a second. So this is something else that I've noticed a lot of people asking about. They're like, how come every time I go to my base, my pals are all just kind of standing around, not doing anything? Well, I don't know the official answer to that, but I know how to kind of fix it. So as you can see, if you wait here for a second and let the game just kind of render for a minute, they do seem to go back to work. It's basically like the game is trying to load your base, so your pals are all kind of just standing around while everything renders. Now, one thing I have noticed, so notice how these two pals are kind of just standing here on top of the farm plot, but there's berries underneath their feet. If you walk up to those berries and pick them up, see how they immediately started working again. I don't know why that is. It's a thing. But if you basically pick up the berries underneath them, or whatever the crop is that they're standing on top of, they seem to go back to work. So, like, see, this guy's just standing here, not doing anything, but as soon as I pick up that wheat, he's right back to work again. So if that's happening to you, you can try that. Worst case scenario, if you notice your pals are getting stuck, you can obviously come back to the PAL box. What I do is I'll find a page like this that's blank in the PAL box, if you have a blank page still, if you have room. And then just put all your pals back in the PAL box, like this. So see, they're all back in now, and then you can just bring them all right back out. This will kind of reset them and get them back on task. The other thing is obviously these pals that are grazing in the ranch. When you're not at the base, this is what it seems to do. It just drops all the stuff on the ground. The pals with transporting will eventually go around and pick all this stuff up, but, you know, to kind of speed up the process, you may just want to go around and pick everything up from the ranch. So as you can see, all the pals are back to work. They're doing their thing. Getting dark out now, so they're probably going to fall asleep. But that's something I commonly see asked in the group chats. You know, like, why are my pals not working? They're just kind of standing around. If that happens to you, just put them back in the PAL box and then pull them back out again. Another person I saw ask about the food trough here. Just make sure it's outside. One thing I can suggest, if you're putting it inside of a building, they may not eat from it, possibly. I've noticed... I have this little building over here for my base, and I notice my pals don't typically go in there. Once in a while they will. If I'm crafting something, they might come in and try to help me. But they don't seem to go in there that much. So I recommend keeping the food larder, the food trough thing outside. The other thing about that is the food that's inside it, the pals are going to eat from the first food slot. So if you didn't know that, so I've got my berries in the first slot. So just make sure whatever food is in that first slot, that's what you want them to eat. Like you wouldn't want to have your honey that the bees are collecting in that slot, because then they're going to eat all the honey that you're trying to collect. I guess I can leave this wheat in here for now. But obviously you need your honey for, you know, making cakes, stuff like that. So what I do is I typically pull the honey out of the food trough and just put it in a storage box, since it doesn't decay anyway. As the bees graze in the ranch, they'll get honey, and the pals will automatically pick it up. But since it's a food item, they will bring it over here to the food trough. So just want to keep an eye on that if you're trying to gather honey, that it isn't going into that first item slot and getting eaten by the pals, because they will eat it. Alright, so it's nighttime. My pals are sleeping. Pick up some of this stuff that they didn't pick up yet. Every once in a while, I notice there are some resources that they seem to miss. They're gathering, they don't always pick them all up. This is something, too, that maybe you might not have seen. So your grapple gun, if you're overweight, you can still use your grapple gun. Or like right now, I'm overweight. I can still move, but obviously, as you can see, I'm super slow. You can still use your grapple gun to move yourself around. That may be something you didn't know. Alright, so I've got a couple more eggs here in my inventory. Got some eggs. Oh, they're all done incubating, so let's check these out. So we've got a large dark egg. Let's see what's in this one. Got a Catris. Got a large scorching egg. We got another Kitsun. Large frozen egg. Cryo-links. Alright, so do I have some more large eggs? Scorched egg. I have so many eggs, it's crazy. Here's a large verdant egg. And frozen egg. We'll do 3 different types again. So your eggs, obviously, they get cold or they get hot. As you can see, like this egg says it's comfortable. These eggs say they're cold. You can put campfires and heaters next to them to change that. The campfire does seem to have a proximity for its heat. So, you know, you may want to space out your incubators, because if one egg requires a lot of heat and one doesn't, you know, if you're trying to put fires next to it, it's going to affect the other eggs. So like I said, this one is comfortable, but these two are cold. So theoretically, I would want to put more fires down to help them hatch, you know, a little faster. Another thing is this alarm bell you can build at your base. If your pals seem to not be staying on task, build one of these, and then just make sure that the alarm bell, like this one, is currently set for focus on work. You want to make sure this is set this way if you want to make sure they are working and doing their tasks. If your base gets raided, though, you'll want to ring the bell to alarm your pals to attack the attackers, obviously. That was something else I was asked about. What does the alarm bell do? Well, that's what it does. Alright, so let's bring up the chat here. Something I made a separate video on, of course, was the whole Xbox system issues, I guess you could say, when it comes to games like this, like Palworld. And I don't want to offend anybody, but, you know, I hate to say it. The old Xbox One, I looked it up today, it was released in 2013. The original Xbox One now is almost 11 years old. It's obviously outdated. Why they are continuing to release games like Palworld and say that they will play on the Xbox One, I don't know why they're doing that. I guess it's because, in part, you know, for quite a while when the Xbox Series X and the Series S were released, they were very hard to get. They were not readily available, it seemed like. I know the Series X was like almost impossible to find for, it seemed like, the first year of its release. And so maybe that's what's prompted them to kind of extend the life of the original Xbox One. But again, that system was released in 2013, according to Google. And so, you know, it's going on its 11th year of existence. It's not surprising, to me at least, that, you know, it's going to have a hard time running these modern Unreal Engine 5 games. So constantly in the message boards, there's people saying, oh, my game crashes all the time, or, oh, I fall through the map all the time, and game won't save. And then you see people ask them, well, what system are you playing on? And, you know, a lot of times they're saying, I'm playing on an original Xbox One, or a 1S, or a Series S. And it's like, I hate to say it, but unless you're playing the game on like a Series X or a PC, you might run into some problems. Again, I'm somebody who's played other survival crafting games on the Xbox, on a variety of different Xboxes, and there's performance issues with those games. And again, unless you're playing it on a Series X or a PC, you know, you're running into a lot of problems. Now, I'm playing right now on a Series X. I have experienced a few crashes with this game. Like, once in a while, it will just quit to dashboard. But it's rare. It's, you know, out of, I don't know how many hours I have in the game, but it's a lot. Out of all of that time playing, I've maybe crashed to dashboard 5 times. Something like that. I've fallen through the map a couple of times. But you can kind of tell when it's going to happen on Series X anyway. The terrain, if you're looking down at it, if it looks like really smooth and there's no like texture to it, it kind of is a giveaway that it's not fully rendered in, and so maybe don't walk there. But yeah, I mean, even on a Series X, there are a few issues. There was a guy going back and forth in the message board today. He was calling all the Xbox Series X users elitists. It's like, oh, here comes the Xbox Series X elitists. It's like, bro, you're talking about a system that's been out for 3 years at this point. We're not being elitist. We're just saying that it's the most, like, modern version of the Xbox. It's the most powerful one. If you want the best experience and the best performance, you probably should play on the hardware that has the best performance. The best specs. I mean, even the Series S, I mean, it clearly, in just my opinion, but it clearly does not run or play games as well as a Series X, obviously. A lot of people thought that the Series S was just a disc, like a version of the Xbox Series X that just didn't have a disc drive, you know, couldn't play CDs. But clearly that's not the case. It does not have the same power as a Series X. So that was one thing I wanted to bring up, because I see it posted all the time in this community. And I'll just kind of read some of these comments. Let's see. You know, this person says, Palworld on the Xbox Series S, on the Xbox S, I should say, is literally unplayable. The game loads in and it crashes within a few seconds. you know, they said I'm pretty much done with the game until they do an update. I mean, I don't know if an update's really going to help you. I hate to say that. You're playing on a console that's 10 years old, it's probably not going to run. It's just, again, my opinion, but it just seems like that's the case. Alright, so I'm kind of looking through here to see what other questions are frequently being asked. You know, a lot of the issues people might be having with pals at their base, again, can be fixed either by just bringing all of the pals back into your pal box and then bringing them back out, or do like I said and just kind of go around your base, make sure that everything has been collected off the ground in the area. For whatever reason, sometimes the pals seem to just stand there on top of the stuff and not move until you pick the stuff up, so try that. My base in particular, right here in the water, a lot of times I will spawn back here and 2 or 3 of my pals will be stuck down here in the water for whatever reason, or they'll be standing up on top of the base. They'll kind of just be stuck up there. You know, again, just go to your pal box, bring them all back into the pal box, and then bring them right back out again. Should reset them, no problem. This person says, I've been playing since the game first came out with no issues. Suddenly, I'm falling through the map all the time. Yeah, I mean, you can try things like clearing your Xbox cache. That is an option. When you first load into an area, maybe just kind of stand there for a few seconds, let everything render. Especially if you're playing on an older Xbox or a 1S or whatever, Series S. You know, when you first fast travel, like if I fast travel, oh, let's say up here to Icy Weasel Hill. You know, when I first get here, I often will just kind of stand here for a second, kind of let everything render. Sometimes there'll be a pal, like, standing right next to me, will attack me. But I think that helps sometimes, if you just kind of let everything render for a second. Wanted to check this area out anyway, because there's a pal, not a pal box, but a treasure chest over here that often sometimes has some decent stuff in it. This is another area where there's a lot of eggs. It's kind of a cool area anyway. All these like towers. Kind of looks like a little city over here. Alright, so usually that chest, I think, is right here. Usually right at the top of this little throne-looking thing. Not here right now, so we'll have to wait for it to respawn. Different chest. One that I'm looking for is purple, though. A lot of chillets in this area. Yeah, at the top of these towers, there's a lot of times eggs. there's another spot over here where there's usually 4 gold chests all at the same time. They're all like in a circle. Show you that. As you can see, there's a large frozen egg down there. Astral Mountains. Yeah, this circle right here. Stamina. I just picked up these chests not that long ago, but normally there's 4 chests right here. Where it is on the map. Up in the north. But usually around this circle there's 4 chests. Like treasure chests. Picked them up not that long ago. Large frozen egg. Might be a huge, actually. Oh no, it's a large. I thought it was a huge. It was pretty big. Alright. So, go back to some questions here. You know, like this person says, the game is massively broken. I'm glad I didn't pay money for this. I mean, technically you did if you're paying for Game Pass. So, I don't know what they mean by that. Again, I think a lot of those issues are hardware related. It also could have to do with your internet connection. I mean, the game, yes, is like in beta, early access kind of a state. It does obviously have some issues. But honestly, compared to a lot of games I've played that are kind of in a beta or early access, this one actually runs really well, in my opinion. And just my opinion. People obviously ask, you know, how do I get more bases? That's done by leveling up your base. So your base actually has missions as well. So if you look at your PAL box, it will have an option for missions. And most of them are crafting related, you know, like craft this particular structure or whatever. And once you do that, you get the option to level up your PAL box, which is also your base, basically. Once you get it to, I believe, level 10, it then gives you the option to have a second base. And then, I'm not sure the exact level for the third base. I know I'm getting pretty close to it. I'd have to go back and check, but, you know, eventually, once you level up your base again to the certain point, it will give you the option for a third base. So basically, that's what you have to do. You have to level up the PAL box, which is also basically your base. As far as the breeding goes, I see a lot of questions about the PAL breeding. There are quite a few good guides out there already on the internet, so I'm not going to kind of go into that too much. But obviously there are certain combinations of the breeding to try to have the end result be a particular PAL. You know, if you're breeding the PALs that have certain skills, can sometimes get passed on, but again, there's other videos and tutorials and guides out there on the internet. So I'm not going to get into that too much here. I haven't personally done a lot of the breeding yet. All I have done is basically bred a few in order to get other pals that I didn't have yet. Like, I didn't have an Anubis. So I bred the ones that were the parents for Anubis. I forget the two. But I've got a couple of different Anubises now. And they are really good. They're good miners and good workers at your base. Let's see. Someone asked, when you have two bases, are both bases supposed to be going, or will only one base be working while you are gone, depending on the last one you were at? I don't... It kind of seems like when you aren't there, that the pals just sort of freeze in place. I don't know if they actually continue to work when you're not there. Like the ranch, for example. When I fast travel back to my ranch right now, you'll notice that the pals haven't been picking up the stuff. They just let it sit on the ground. Whereas if I'm at the base, they pick up the stuff as it's pulled out. So see how I just rendered back? Some of the pals are kind of just standing in one place. All the stuff's on the ground. So I don't know whether they actually work when you're not there. I mean, clearly they're doing something because all this stuff wouldn't be on the ground. But I don't know if they continue to, like, mine and do that stuff. See, they obviously chopped these trees, but they didn't pick up any of the stuff. So it's weird. It's like when you're here, you know, they definitely do everything they're supposed to do, or at least they usually do. But when you're not here, that's when it seems like some problems could happen. And they might get stuck. They might, like, see, these three are just standing here. Not doing anything. But once I pick up that wheat off the ground, see, look. There's 4 of them, actually, were stuck there. But see, now they're off doing their thing. So you gotta be careful of that. That definitely can happen. So that's just some of the more common things I'm seeing in the message board. We'll do a part 2 to this, where I'll, you know, go into some other different things as well. If you have, you know, kind of specific questions that you're wondering about, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Again, you know, I'm not an expert at this game by any means, but I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on it. I've kind of figured out some of the glitchy stuff on my own, how to fix them, like I mentioned. That seemed to work just fine. There's nothing game-breaking that I can't play the game or anything like that at all. So, like, as you can see, so look, this Anubis, he's stuck down here in the water. He'll stay there until I actually do something about it. So I can either physically pick him up and move him, or I can just go back to my PAL box, put him back in, take him back out, boom, there he goes. Now he's back to work. Most likely he was hungry, obviously, so he ran to get some food. Yeah, now he'll get back to doing what he's supposed to do. So yeah, we'll do a part 2 to this, and, you know, in the meantime, I do hope you'll follow or subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave a question or comment, and I will try to answer it for you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.